The people at Truck Stop then teamed up with the boy Mark the Mentor. Are you ready to take your trucking business to the next level? With Truck Stop Pro, you get access to the best load board in the game, giving you the tools to find higher paying loads and streamline your operation. And right now, you can try the Pro plan free for 30 days, a $159 value. Click the link in the description to claim your free Pro plan and start making smarter moves for your trucking business today.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Come on in, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications. All right, shout out to Roger Lacey, represents Cincinnati. Shout out to Don Solo, representing the crib. Shout out to Carlito, representing the crib. UK Hemi. Shout out to Happy to Deliver. Shout out to We Carry Freight in the building. Shout out to Mr. Kirk in the building. Shout out to William Sweet representing Jacksonville, Florida. Shout out to Goat Logistics representing DMV. Shout out to King Singh representing NYC. Shout out to King Dawood representing Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to SD Walt representing Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to Rio representing ATL. Shout out to Mr. Marcus Williams representing, I guess, Get It Gone Transportation. Shout out to Sale in the building. What's going on? How's everybody doing? Make sure you guys come on in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn all post notifications. This finna be one of them ones. Listen, you know I'm not scared to have the tough conversations. You want to have them, so let's have it. You know, and I'm going to drop the link at the end so you can come up and tell me. You know what I'm saying? Me, I keep telling you, bro, like I'm old, so like it don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna speak the real, and you know, you're gonna have some people that just don't like it, I'm gonna bring up some content too, and I wanna have an exercise. I wanna have an exercise, and we gonna come to a little bit of understanding. And if we don't, then we don't. We got a poll. We got a poll up. Who is responsible for failure? So far, we got 24 votes. It's all one sided. All right, it's all one sided. All right, so far it's one sided. So let me not speak on that until we get more people that come into the chat and get some votes, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to remain that way. All right. So what I want to talk about today is learning from mistakes. Learning from mistakes. And this is very educational, right? Because I think some people don't understand, that the value of learning from others' mistakes and how instrumental and valuable it can be. Uh, and why it's misunderstood when it comes to, I guess, content creation and even mentoring. You know what I'm saying? How many of you, let me ask you a question. How many people that are here so far think if you paid for a mentorship, let me ask you this. If you paid for a mentorship, or if you have paid for a mentorship, what do you look to gain from that mentorship? That individual, right? What are you looking to gain from that individual? What are you looking to gain from mentorship? The person you go to, what are you looking to acquire from that individual? I'm just curious. Let me know in the chat. I want to see the first 5 people. Let me know. Let me know what you think. And this is going to be the ones, it's not going to be highly publicized, because, the title doesn't, it's just it's thought provoking. This is one of those ones that are going to be thought provoking. So let me know, what do you expect to get from a person's mentorship? Perspective, guidance, avoid losing money and time. All right. What else? What else? Anybody else? Let's see if we can get 3 more perspectives. 3 more perspectives on what you stand to gain from mentorship, whether it's paid or whether it's pro bono. What are you looking to get? Even if you have a person in your family that's skilled in an industry that you're looking to go in, and they're providing you mentorship pro bono, what are you looking to gain from it? What are you looking to gain? What are you looking to get out of it? What do you expect from them? All right, nobody? All right, I'm going to tell you what I would be looking to gain. I would want to know all the good stuff, but more importantly, I would want to know all the bad stuff. I would want to learn from their mistakes more so than all the good things. Why? Because mistakes cost money. Mistakes cost money, and I understand that running a business, especially a business like trucking, that the industry that we're in, when the margins are very small, mistakes can be very detrimental to the bottom line. I want to know the mistakes. Listen, I I learn from people's mistakes in business, and I learn from people's mistakes just in real life. That's a part of growing. That's a part of being wise, wisdom. You can't just expect just like all the like peaches and cream and roses and lilies and all the good stuff. That's cool and all. But then this is why we're in this situation that we're in as far as this failure rate. And I'm speaking to a specific demographic. And I'm gonna bring up some, like, the other day I brought up some comments, and there was a few people that came in the comment section of that video and said, "Man, you should do this more often. Bring up comments like this and dissect them, and let's have a conversation, because it's thought provoking." Me, I'm not scared to pull up comments that challenge my viewpoint. See, a lot of people that are in this space, they're not going to do that. They're going to delete them. They're going to remove them. They're not going to give you a chance to come up and articulate yourself if you are opposing their thoughts. I provide the platform you to do everything. I even engage with people that have a different viewpoint. So we're gonna do that again, but I want to talk about why so many people feel certain. Well, not it's not a lot of people, but it's a growing number of people that feel a way about you know the call-in show and maybe some of the clips from the call-in show. You tearing another black man down. Okay. Hmm. Tearing another black man down. All right, so let's think about this. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's rewind. Let's go back to 2020, 2021, and 2022. What was the color of most of the people selling people courses, mentorships, uh, whatever? All right, whatever. Whether they were deemed credible or not credible, what was the majority of people that you saw? That you saw? Just let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. What was the color of most of the people? See, when I ask this question, okay, I know it's a delay, so I got to give it a little bit of time. All right. Now, when everything started to come to an end, and there were just a bunch of disgruntled people, and even still today, when I host a call-in show, last week I did a call-in show, or the week before last, I think we had 7 people came up. And 6 out of the 7 people, the first thing they said was they bought something and they were disgruntled about what they bought. They said they didn't get anything from it. Now, I'm not saying that they did or they didn't get anything because I wasn't there. Maybe they did get some value and they didn't apply it. I think the first guy that I spoke to that day, the 50-year-old guy, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, because I wasn't there. But listening to him talk, he was intelligent. He was intelligent. All right. So I can't fully say that people aren't getting value, but there's a growing number still into this day, and we're 2 years removed from the pandemic, and people are still complaining about influencers and creators and things of that nature. Right. Now, most of these creators, they look like me. Now, here's another question I got. When I asked these people, well, what were their names? Who were they? We get the same answer, right? Man, I don't want to, I don't want to, what I'm saying, I don't want to put it out there, you know what I'm saying? Da, 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 da. All right, so you feel like you were taken advantage of. You feel like you invested into something and there was no value there, but you refuse to be transparent about said individuals, right? All right, so boom. I talk to people pro bono and I challenge people to do what's in their best interest, right? I challenge people to do what's in their best interest. Now, let me ask you this because I want engagement. What do you think if there's 2 lessons that are learned from the call-in show that you learned from people's mistakes that I try to convey week in and week out from the call-in show and in these clips? What are the 2 most valuable lessons that you learn from other people's mistakes from what you see? From what you see, there's 2 things. Let's see what those 2 things are. Let me see. What do you guys think those 2 things? I want to know what you think because I know what's in my head. I want to know what's in your head. Pause. What do you think? It's 2 valuable lessons that if that me knowing what I know, but even if I was a novice coming into this industry, looking at that content, there's 2 things that just stand out. What mistakes do you see from that content? That if you're ignorant and you're looking for information, what 2 things, what 2 mistakes are people making week in and week out? Anybody? Not knowing expenses, not having capital. Well, you got 1 out of the 2. Okay, we got the cost. It's one more thing. Cost, not understanding their cost. All right, research, not understanding what they're investing in. there's two things that that these call-in shows week in and week out, there's two lessons that you learn. And I know that there's people out there because they express their gratitude of showcasing others' mistakes. All right, so this is what you get, what you're supposed to get from mentorship. You're supposed to get an individual's experience in totality. You're paying for an individual's experience in totality, right? You're paying for all the good stuff that you can't find on the internet, all the tricks of the trade. You're paying for relationships. You're paying for things that you can't get and that you can't find on the internet, but you're also paying for their shortcomings as well. Why? So that you can avoid them. What good is a mentorship or learning without knowing what the shortcomings that could potentially lie ahead? Why are people scared of what we know is for certain to happen? Well, Mark, what's for certain to happen? That there's going to be bad days, that bad things are going to happen, that no business is a straight arrow up and to the right. So and it's primarily our people. Why are we so critical of transparency when it comes to mistakes? Why are we so critical of that? It's a cultural, why do we have this cultural fear of failure? Why don't we embrace learning? I remember, I think I told this story before. I was 20, 21. I had to be 20, 19, 20 because I had Illumina. It was a buddy of mine at the time, and this is a little bit graphic, but I'm going to tell you the story because this is something that I learned, just a life experience that I learned. Grown man, we 19, 20, 21. I can't remember how old I was. I just remember the car, so it was somewhere within those because I was driving him to the clinic. He was burning. This is a 6 foot something guy burning, crying like a little baby, holding on to his crouch. I learned a lesson from watching this guy who is about damn near a foot taller than me. I learned a valuable lesson. Now, I think y'all know what that lesson is. But me sitting there driving this grown ass man who was about 7 inches taller than me, grown man, crying like a little bitty baby in agony and pain for something that was preventable. And what he could have used to prevent that, he could have, the same place I'm taking him to go get the situation fixed, he could have went there. They got garbage cans full of what could have prevented this from happening. That you can just go, you could bring your own shopping bag and grab as many of them as you want. It taught me a valuable lesson not to put myself in the situation that he put himself in, to be on the way to where I'm taking him crying like a little bitty baby, because it looked like it was painful. I didn't ignore what was going on with that situation. I still remember that situation to today. There were situations from that time period going on that, thinking about that situation, that mistake he made, learning from his mistake, that made me stop and reach over to that drawer. And I'm not, this ain't for satire. I'm being honest. I'm using real life case studies in my real life. That was one of the ones that, I don't want to be like, that shit didn't look like it felt too good. And then we got there, it's a long line and all that shit. So you can, bro, ain't nobody want to go through all that. Don't nobody want to go through all that. So if I see an opportunity to learn and avoid something that's costly from other people, that's not something I'm going to frown upon. That's something that I'm going to look as an opportunity to gain value from and apply it so that I can avoid it. If I'm watching this content that no one else is presenting, right? Because everybody is so enamored with getting people on their side because they have something to sell, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shunning that. I'm not shitting on it. I'm not shunning it. It is what it is, right? Because whether it's credible or it's not credible, that's you, the user, to decide by doing the same research that you should be doing before you invest into something that you don't understand. That's for you to decide. And the cost you pay for it, you decide that. Value is what a person is willing to pay for something. So if you continue to pay for it, and what you pay for it, you set the value for it. So if there's a person, one individual, who's giving you the tools that are necessary to succeed from the good side and the bad side, which the bad side is a learning tool as well, why be upset about it? You kicking another black man down. Okay. What about what's up with the black people that took him up the river during the pandemic? So holding your own people accountable, right, for their actions and still giving them the necessary tools and information that they need to succeed. Nah, bro, we not finna not do that. If a person don't know where they messed up at, how can they correct the behavior? Now, there is a level of satire with it. I've stated this, a numerous amount of times. Why? Because we have to add some type of entertaining aspect. Why? Because you already have a short attention span as it is. Well, Mark, how do you know we have a short attention span? Because week after week, people come up and display what? That they have no idea what they invested in because they didn't take the time to do the research. They didn't take the time to read because their attention span is low and they just don't want to take the time to do something that's just so boring. So with me knowing this, because, I understand what I'm getting into, I have to add some level of satire to it to keep you engaged. I have to put, like Cars and Cribs told me, the medicine inside the candy. Now, it may come at the expense of some individuals, but that's the risk that they're taking because this ain't something that's new. This is a year off. We a year in this show. We are a year in. 40 episodes. So you already know what you're getting. Now, I could charge you an arm and a leg, but I don't want to do that. If we only celebrate success and we don't discuss failure, it creates a false narrative. And that's why it's such a problem now. For 3 years, a false narrative was created. And that false narrative still lingers today. There's still people. And here's the thing. And here's what you guys fail to realize. You know why you see mostly black people? It's because most of us, because it's only us we're the majority that's doing what's not in our best interest. And notice I said we. So even though I don't do ignorant shit like that, I still include myself in it because I'm black. I'm looked at the same way you looked at. So me taking the risk, right? Because I know it's the unpopular thing to do, right? I'm gonna continue to do it. I'm not going to just celebrate success without letting you know the downside, because that's why so many people are misled. I was listening to a guy yesterday talk about Amazon. Now, there's a few people talk about Amazon. I already know y'all got one guy that y'all always think Amazon when it comes to mind. Y'all think of this one guy. But I'm not going to tell you who it was, right? Because I'm not here to stir up any confusion, right? I'm here to get you to open your mind and think. Hit the like button. I listened to this guy talk about Amazon Relay like it was God's gift to man, right? And he only talked about the upside of Amazon Relay. Amazon is this company, there's Amazons everywhere. Look at the volume of Amazon. You go to an Amazon facility, look how many trucks are there, look how much freight is there. They've already done the work, so you don't have to do it. Da 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 da. That's it. Now, people that are looking for information to do Amazon Relay in our sector are box truck owner operators. I listen to this guy go on and on and on and on and on, content after content about how great a company that Amazon is. And I just watch people feed into that. Not one single thing, not one single sentence was spoken on how you could be successful partnering with Amazon, doing Amazon Relay. People were sold a dream, and people are being sold an idea that Amazon is this company that's only going to continue to go. Well, I know the camera is backwards, up and to the right. Or which way is up and to the right on your side? I don't know. And that's far from the truth. But people who don't understand business don't understand that every single company hits a climax. Every single company hits a peak. But they're sold the idea because every time they go out their door, just a trip to the grocery store, they're going to see a couple Amazon vans. They see these 1,000,000 square foot Amazon facilities. They hear that Amazon is a $4 trillion company. They catch a news clipping that Jeff Bezos is almost worth $300 billion. So all they hear is the success and the metrics, right? And the analytics of Amazon. But what does that have to do with you partnering with them? And see, that's what people don't think about. And that's far from the truth. Why? Because Amazon, if you've done your research, hit the like button, hit its climax 2 years ago. Amazon hit its climax already. So how can the company continue to grow up when they have already hit their climax? They had almost, let's say almost a 30-year run of just going straight up. Well, Mark, how do you determine they hit their climax? The mass layoffs and all the abandoned Amazon facilities. See, here's the thing. Let's really talk about it. Because some person that wants to do Amazon Relay right now, listening to me, they're going to think I'm talking negative, but no, I'm speaking the facts. If someone is selling you just positives and some of those things are not all the way factual, then that's misleading. There's dormant Amazon facilities here in Chicago. I've done content. I took you to one of them. The only thing I didn't do was cross the threshold and go do one of those abandoned series like you see on YouTube where people break in and walk around with a camera, because I'm not finna get arrested. They still got security sitting there 24 hours. There's an abandoned facility not far from where I live that's been abandoned for 2 years. They built it and never opened it. Why didn't they never open some of these facilities that they were constructing during the pandemic? Because consumer buying behavior shifted and normalized again. That's why you have dormant Amazon facilities in places throughout the country. They were constantly building. I think they have great data. I think they do great R&D. But this is one of the ones where I don't even want to say they dropped the ball. They just misjudged. And it happens. If you're in Chicago, the one on Halsted has been vacant for 2 years. So they built a multi-million square foot facility on the Chicago River and never opened it. On the Calumet River, never opened it. Just been sitting for a couple years now. Why? They hit their climax. They laid off over 100,000 people, and all the facilities, and you can go read this, all the facilities that were being built at that time when they were going through that climax, when they hit that climax and things kind of stabilized, they ceased construction on all of them. They've been sitting ever since. But see how someone can easily be led into believe that, oh, this is just a company that's just going to grow and 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 grow forever. What does that have to do with your business? Because we see people that invest and partner with other businesses and they fail. Their growth and their success has nothing to do with you and your business. Me, I will never be sold an idea that because if I get a box truck and I partner with this company because this company is so massive and conglomerate that it ensures my success. That's far from the truth. Because if it was the truth, why have so many people failed at it? And that's just one example. I do these call-in shows week in and week out, and there's two issues. Not understanding what you invest in, not understanding what it costs you to run your business. So me helping first of all, me challenging a person, right, to do what's in their best interest, to understand what they invest in, right, and to understand what it costs, is me tearing another black man down. That's what somebody told me this morning. You tearing another black man down. You ain't supporting his dreams. So listen to this young kid. Let's pull this video up. Hold on. I want y'all to see something. Let's pull it up. Remember this kid? Boom. Remember this kid right here? Remember him, y'all? Remember this guy? Mr. I don't have any money. I make $40,000 a year. I got a wife and 2 or 3 kids. I don't have any money, but these Russians in Chicago said I could just get the trucks and then they going to handle everything, and I'm going to put my drivers out there. And I said, well, man, what happens if something happened? Well, I'll get some money when they finish the first load. Well, what happens if something goes wrong during the first load? What should go wrong? I'm in a rental truck. This is what he said. If anybody watched this video, it spewed ignorance. And once again, ignorance is not a bad thing. People look at the word ignorance like this is some bad thing. The definition of ignorance is just not knowing. This guy wants to come in. He knew nothing about trucking. I challenged him to learn the industry, and if you're going to start with the minimal capital that you have, start with one. He was very adamant about starting with three, but yet and still you have ignorant people that say, I'm shooting a black man down. Why do you think he has the mindset that he has? Who do you think instilled this ignorant mindset in him? Probably a black person that he's white. Matter of fact, I think he named a few people. I can't remember. So me telling him to think about it, come in the right way, I'm helping him prevent failure. There is satire there, right? He presented a lot of satire, and we were kind of playing off of each other as far as the satire is concerned. But yet and still, there's ignorant people that think a guy with 2 or 3 kids who only made $40,000, who had all he had was he didn't even have the $9,000. But he thinks he can come in with $9,000 with 3 trucks. And he says, well, once the first load gets complete, then they'll bring a little bit of money back in. Not understanding that, guess what? You're renting 3 trucks. So 7 days later, you got to pay the rental fee again. And when I asked him about what if something happens, he said, well, what can happen? I don't think nothing going to happen. But to hold on, let me see something. Let me blow it up here. Blow that up. Blow this up. Where is this guy at? Give me a second. Hold on. We finna find you. To this guy, Mr. Sammy. Mr. Sammy says, hope you can teach being black and having a man shoot your ideas down. It's crazy. Did I shoot his ideas down, or did I tell him start with 1 truck? I didn't shoot his ideas down. I told him to learn the business, and he might want to start with 1 truck, master 1 truck. But to Sammy, me telling him 3 trucks was crazy because he lacked knowledge in what he was about to invest in is me shooting him down. Even the young man said, I'm hating on him. You're just hating on me because I want to start with 3 trucks. You don't have no money. What did I tell him in the video? I said, you ain't got no money and you ain't got no trucks. I said, everything you need, I got it. So what makes you think I'm hating on you? You ain't got no trucks and you ain't got no money. And I'm not lying to you. That's the truth because he said it. So this is the ignorance. And this is what keeps us down. The accountability, the lack of accountability is also what keeps us down. I don't see this shit with nobody else. Only us. You tell a black motherfucker to read. You tell a person that looks like you to go back and do the research. I'm a villain for that. All right, I'll be a villain every day of the week. I'll be a villain every day of the week. This is the same person here who's saying this, shooting ideas down, who probably didn't even understand the context of the whole engagement between me and the kid, because if he did, I continuously said, start with 1 truck. You know why that kid right here was so adamant about 3 trucks? Because he wanted money, more money, so that he can go and do a bunch of shit that's not in his best interest. Not one time in my engagement with this kid, when we're going back and forth for over an hour, did he express any interest, no matter how much I tried to get him to, in actually learning the business. Why? Because he's been sold an idea of trucking can be turnkey. He's been sold an idea that trucking is turnkey, and it's far from the truth. There's nothing turnkey about the trucking industry. He didn't want to drive a truck. I told him, you need to get in the truck and drive it. Why do I got to drive it? Hold on. No, let's revisit this for a second. Let's revisit this. Pick up, educate yourself on this business. So that when you do come out to start, you come out. You're gonna fail, man. What part of listen to me? I don't know how many other ways to say it. You don't know how to run one truck.
Okay, so wait. So you said.
Let me ask you a simple question.
Let's take it back. You said go back. You said run the bag up, get the job, say get another job, and then okay. So then
if you want to start the business, run your bag up. While you running your bag up, educate yourself on this business. So that when you do come out to start, you come out and you get your behind on that truck and you run over the road.
So I gotta drive first.
Yeah. How you think this shit work? How you gonna learn the business? How you gonna learn the business? Fam, you're not privileged. You're not privileged, fam.
I ain't trying to be.
So I said, how you expect to learn the business if you don't get out there and drive yourself? Yet and still, he refused. And then you have people that support this behavior. And then we wonder why we wonder, black folk, we wonder why we so behind. Now let me say this. For all you naysayers that think I just do this to black, listen, it was a white woman I made cry. I swear for God. I didn't hold back. It's a white woman that came in my Discord. She cried tears. You know what I told her? The same shit I told him. She bought 4 trucks this year. She kept buying them. You know who took advantage of? She got taken advantage of. Same situation except she a white woman with 3 little bitty kids. Her 3 kids she got 3 under 4. Was down to her last 10,000. The 4 trucks she bought, the person she bought the truck from took her on a ride. She gave them 10 grand and then didn't give her the truck. So all the positivity shit that she heard, it all led her to me. Man, what should I do? You know what I told her? I told her the truth. You got 4 trucks. One of them you don't even have. You put 10,000 down. For some reason, they won't give you the truck. I don't know why. She had a bunch of personal shit going on. I'm not finna get into it. And just a bunch of shit, bro. And she just started crying. I didn't do anything. I told her the truth. I said, why'd you keep buying these trucks? Well, I thought because we weren't making money in this one truck, if I got another one, then it would be profit. And that's just not the way it works. I said, ma'am, each truck you buy, you're going to duplicate whatever it is you're doing on the first truck. So if the first truck isn't profitable, what makes you think that acquiring another truck is going to lead to profitability? You're just going to duplicate what you're doing with the first truck. What you're not understanding to make the first truck profitable, it's not going to mysteriously happen because you went out and got a second truck. So she was at her wit's end because everybody was taking advantage of her, which led her to me to tell her the truth. So don't think it's just us. It's anybody. I don't discriminate. I'm more tougher on us though. I don't discriminate. I understand it's gonna come with backlash. It's people in here right now. It's not. It doesn't. It's just what comes with it. %95 of the people that watch this interaction saw the value in it. And I shout out to him because he probably was one of the most entertaining guests. He leaned into the satire. And I appreciate him for it because this engaging conversation, a lot of people did learn from it, but there are some uneducated, ignorant people that see this as me tearing him down. Even though it's clear as day, I said, man, start with a truck, get out there, run the business, learn how to run the business and grow from there. But me telling a person to get out there, start with one truck, you heard me say it. Run your money up first because he didn't have any money. It's in the content. Listen, this isn't scripted. The man said it out his mouth. So me telling him to save up his money, get out there with one truck, go over the road, learn the business and grow from there is me telling him this is me tearing another black man down because I didn't support this insane idea of not having no money, taking a little bit of money that you have, going out there with 3 rental trucks, depleting that money that he had because that's all that he had to get the 3 trucks, right? And then not even going out there to see what the road was like himself. That's me tearing a black man down. See, a lot of people misunderstand the intent. They think it's, to embarrass or mock or, they miss the educational aspect from it. There is satire. I've always been transparent about the satire. But it's to educate. Majority of the people understand that. So if I was looking at this, I would not want to come into this industry that ignorant. And then the people that do come in ignorant, that see my content early, what do they always come when they run into situations like he ran into or he's going to run into if he did get up and going, they all come up and say the same thing. Man, Mark, I didn't like your content at first, man. But everything that I used to see you say, it happened to me, man. Because they only wanted to look at the shit from one side of the equation. They thought the shit was sweet. You can't take constructive criticism. Constructive criticism. You can't handle it. So if you can't handle constructive criticism that's coming from a good place, that's honest and truthful, what makes you think you're going to be able to deal with the reality that you're going to be faced with once you really get out here? And see, that's another issue. Once people get out here and they in the thick of it, they get frustrated. We saw that last week. We saw that in the earlier part of the season. The first guest that came up this season, the guy who had the truck and it had been parked and he was doing the final mile delivery in a semi truck or something like that. Remember the frustration he had on him? Now, let's go back to that. Who remembers that episode? I purposely didn't inflict in any satire with that guy. Remember this guy? I'm going to pull it up just in case people thought. Because just in case people think that, there's no empathy. Let's see here. We're going to go here. Who remembers this guy? Let me pull it up. Let me make sure. Who remembers this guy? Who remembers this guy? And you didn't take a mechanic to. Why does it vary? What's the? Remember, there was no satire here, and I made note of that on the stream. Why? I'm a good judge of character. I knew where he was at. I'm not going to do satire. So don't ever get this shit fucked up that Mark ain't empathetic, because I displayed nothing but empathy for him. Why? Because his situation was totally different. I knew he didn't even understand the conversation. I got that very early. So I wasn't going to add a level of satire to his situation, because me understanding morally that it wasn't needed in this particular situation, I completely avoided it. And if you go back and watch this, or if you remember it, you'll understand why. If I would have added satire with him, I would have absolutely positively been making fun of him. Because it wasn't about him not understanding what he invested in. It was about him just not understanding. So that's why there was no satire here. This is why this whole conversation, look at it, look at him. I can look at a person and know when a person is all just defeated. There was a lot going on. This was a learning lesson. Even though we didn't get to, the meat and the potatoes, because he was having a hard time just even grasping the concept, which is another reason why I didn't add satire. This still was a learning lesson for individuals who watch that show. For individuals who think coming into this industry is a piece of cake. They told me it was going to be this, but when I went out and spent all the money, it was something else. Just like the young guy that I just pulled up on the screen. Oh man, Mark, they said I'm going to make $7,000 to $8,000 a week in each box truck. They told this guy something similar. And what was this guy making? $3,000 gross a week? And then after all his expenses, he was walking away with nothing. So you mean to tell me you can't learn from that? The lesson that I would have learned is, don't believe everything you hear. Person to tell you anything. They'll tell you anything just to get you in the door. So why are we afraid of accountability? Black people. Me, mistakes, failure helps me develop resilience. I learn. I say I listen to everybody's good and I listen to everybody's bad. Because you can learn from both. But why are we black people? Why do we shun the truth? Why do we shun the negative? Why don't we embrace it and learn from it? Why is it frowned upon? When Kevin Samuels was doing it, same situation. JT Pocket watching, same situation. It's the same shit, just in different industries. You got one for relationships, one for accounting. There's other industries, and there's people that do it that I disagree with. When I look at Fresh and Fit, the Myron guy, I don't agree with that. I see a guy that's angry. I don't agree with what he does. I don't agree with that accountability. Why? Because he's calling people out their names. He's not providing any value to help their situation. He calls people fat. He calls he's supposed to be a part of our culture, but he's not from here. But he tries to act like he's a part of our culture, and then he criticizes. Being critical of someone from the inside is one thing, but being critical in a certain tone and manner, and you're an outsider, that's another thing. I'm from the crib. I know what the economical challenges and the disadvantages that we're faced with. I talk about it all the time, but guess what? You can overcome those. But I'm not finna sit up here like the people who misled you and sell you all the lilies and the roses and shit. I'm gonna give you the downside and the shit that you need to avoid. And I'm going to utilize real case scenarios, right, for you to learn from as well. Whether you like it or you don't like it. You don't have to like it, but you continue to watch. Thank you. What does your parent do when you did something wrong? They corrected the behavior. Like I said the other day, we got our ass whooped from a different generation. I know some of y'all that think I'm this bad guy. You ain't never got your ass whooped before. See, back in the day, we were held accountable. We was yelled at, cussed out, got our ass beat. And then we were educated on what we did that was wrong and why we shouldn't do it again. If I look at a person like Myron, right, from Fresh and Fit, who does accountability, and let's say I mirrored the call-in show similar to that, yeah, I would be bogus. I don't call nobody out their name. I don't disrespect people. I don't go into people's personal. I don't, judge people. I keep it straight on the content, understanding what you invested in, and operational costs. Yeah, I may do like this and shake my head and hit the tweaking button for satire. Even Cam Samuels, I remember him calling women fat bitches, all type of shit. I ain't never did that to nobody. Some things that I think people should know, I'm pretty sure I could, if I wanted to, if that was that type of person, I could say a bunch of things. But I don't. There's a reason why that guy that I just talked about is not monetized anymore. Because he really wasn't educating. I don't think. I think to a degree, but the way he's going about it. That whole red pill space, that's a different type of monster. That's what the problem is, I think, with a lot of these I'll be picking on the new generation because it's majority of the new generation that are upset because you lack the resilience, you lack the understanding because you refuse to seek it. Because like this young guy, the 28-year-old, he just he he just wants to go out and get a Hellcat. He wants to run up a bag so he can do the shit that he see other people doing on the internet. He doesn't want to learn. All he wants is the money, but he doesn't understand the money comes with the understanding, and the understanding comes with the experience and learning. He refuses to get the understanding and the learning is because he wants instant gratification. Let me pull up another one. Now, I pulled up, and I don't know how old that guy Sammy is, but I responded to him. Matter of fact, y'all probably want to see my response, don't y'all? Because I don't duck it. I don't duck it. Hold on, let me show you my response. Let me show you my response. Hold on. Where it's at? Where it's at? Here you go. Let me show you my response. Where is that? There you go. Let me blow it up. So I said, all right, it was black people that sold black people dreams and false mentorships during the pandemic that caused black people to fail. But when a black person, myself, holds a black person accountable and challenges another black person to go about things the right way, like I did with this young man, you are upset. No taking. I'll keep challenging, and I misspelled I need to go back and edit that. I'll keep challenging myself to do what's in their best. I'll keep challenging my people to do what's in their best interest and be great. One day it'll all make sense to you. Have a good day. Now let's take a look. Let's revisit a good old friend of the channel. Let's visit a good old friend of the channel. A good old friend of the channel left a comment, and he's probably watching. Let's see. Was it yesterday? Let's see. Hold on one second. All right. All right, boom. Here we found it. Let's get it. Nope. Let's pull up the comment section. We want the comment section. All right. Let me pull it up. All right. Shout out to NW Lou. Shout out to MW Lou. Good old MW Lou. Shout out to MW Lou. Now this was on the show. Was this yesterday? Yeah, this is yesterday. I didn't even like my own video. I gotta like my own video. All right, so boom, this was from the show yesterday. MW Lou said another thought-provoking one. So basically, in order to be successful at business, I must sell out my soul and exploit others that are grinding for true freedom in order for me to get ahead. So far in life, I think you're 100% correct. Business is a selfish, greedy endeavor. It is what it is, but damn, where is the info to grow the entire community to put everyone on minus using people? And this is what got NW Lou in trouble the first time, that Sunday night when he was watching Detroit lose. He came up, and NW Lou, I know you probably watching, you're going to watch the replay because you watch everything, and shout out to you. I'm glad you thought it was thought-provoking because that's where I that's my purpose, to engage thought. One way or another, agree or disagree, I don't care, but you're going to think. He totally misunderstood what I talked about because, see, NW Lou, like a lot of people, even the guy that left that comment when I was talking to the 28-year-old ago, take things personally instead of looking at things from a business perspective. In order to be successful in business, I must sell out my soul. Who says anything to sell out their soul? And exploit others that are grinding for true freedom. Listen, America was built on the backs of other people. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll get out your feelings, NW Lou. You got a box truck, your whole ass box truck that you call it, that you're upset with. You called your own truck a whole ass box truck because you can't move it. And I want to drop the link for you, NW Lou. You put a driver in it. You put a driver and a helper if you're doing something that requires two men. They're going out working. If they're doing something labor intensive like moving, they're actually literally using their back. And you're making money off them utilizing their back to carry heavy furniture. Sounds like capitalism to me. So I listened to this. You listen to the lecture. You want to be this business person. You bought this truck to be this business person, and you don't understand how things work. You're not selling out your soul. I haven't sold out my soul. I'm not a part of the Illuminati. I've never been to Bohemian Grove. I'm a Christian. I said it yesterday in the lecture. If I ever had a chance to be anywhere as wealthy as the 1%, I would never want to be that rich. Never. I would never want to be as rich as the DuPonts or the Kennedys or the Onassis or the Roch. I would never want that type of wealth. Never. But in order to get ahead, especially in this industry, if you expect to grow, you're going to have to utilize people. You're going to get ahead off the sweat equity of other people. It is what it is. So then, so far in life, I think you are 100% correct. Business is a selfish, greedy endeavor, man. It is what it is. But damn, where is the info to grow the entire community? All the info that I'm giving is to grow the entire community. But guess what? Not everybody is going to receive it. There's clearly going to be some people that denounce it because they're like you, looking at it from a personal perspective instead of looking at it from a business perspective. MW Lou, everybody can't get on. See, NW Lou, you want to save the world. And the unfortunate thing is you can't save the world. That was your plight when you came up here that night. That was where your heart desires when we had that other conversation, when you clicked the link. How do you expect to grow a business in trucking? You expect to expand without people, without the sweat equity from people. You run moving, sweat equity. You need people. Literally, you're using their backs. You run an OTR trucking company. Each truck that you put a driver in, they're making a sacrifice. You're using them as much as they're using you. They're using you to provide for their family, and you're using them to further enrich you and your family. You're using each other. You may be gaining more, right? If you're running your business correct way, but this is how things work. Everybody can't get on NWLU. If everybody was on, the world wouldn't operate the way it operates. We need different levels and different layers of society. I believe one of the main reasons, hit the like button, that a lot of these individuals were led into this country was because of the lack of people interested in doing, minimum wage, blue collar work. I 100%, do I agree with it? No, but do I understand it? Absolutely. I don't agree with it because I don't like the way they went about it. Do I understand it? Absolutely. A lot of people are adopting the mindset that and they're taking it too personal and getting too emotional about it. But guess what? We need people to flip burgers. We need people to be janitorial. We need gig workers. We need things that people don't want to do. We can even go up. We need mechanics. We need electricians. We need HVAC. We need carpenters. We need plumbers. We need electricians. We need movers. So it doesn't have to necessarily be the minimum of the minimum wage. It could be more vocational trades that pay exceptionally well that the younger generation doesn't want to indulge in. For whatever reason. One of the reasons is because everybody wants to be a Kai Cenat or a Aiden Ross or an Anthony Edwards or, another sports player. I don't know. But the desire to be in a vocation, like one of the ones that I just mentioned, that desire has died off. Most people, MW what you have to realize, that gain some type of stature, right? They did it on the backs of others. I mean, I in NWLU, you gotta either you gotta see, this why you calling your truck a hoe, because you too emotionally invested. Either you're going to be a business person or you are going to be a what do they call those people that run around and be holding the signs and stuff up? A protester. What you going to be, NW? You going to either be a entrepreneur or you going to be a protester. You can't be both. You can't say, hey, but damn, where is the info to grow the entire community to put everyone on, minus using people? It doesn't exist. The individuals that come up on the call-in show and I clip them up, I'm using them to present to people on what mistakes to avoid. So the people who take value, they take the good and the bad. We're utilizing other person's mistake to learn from so that we can save a bunch of people from from doing the same thing. Even in this scenario, there's some using going on. You're using me from my experience, and you ain't paying me. We're all using each other. There's different types of uses. You have positive uses and you have negative uses. If you laid up with a girl and only reason she laying up with you is because you got a bag and she don't really like you like that, and as soon as you fall off, she leave you, she's using you for what you have. She has no interest in you as a person. That's a negative use. Me utilizing one person's misfortune for me to gain knowledge to avoid it in an industry that I'm investing in, that's on a public domain, that there was not, it wasn't put up here by force. That's not a negative thing. That's a positive thing. I'm utilizing one person's, mistakes and misfortune for my gain, because now I'm going to listen to the story and I'm going to make sure that I avoid this situation, or if I run into this situation, learning from their situation, I know how to handle it if I'm presented with it. But the thing we're seeing is a lack of understanding what we're investing in, right? And two, not understanding what it costs to run our business. So what I would take if I were UMW Lou and anybody else that's watching is that, hey, I see a bunch of us. We got an issue with one, accountability, two, not doing the research to understand what we investing in, three, being lazy and not calculating our costs and understanding that we should know what it costs us to run our business. I'm not going to do that. Listen, I was finna jump off the deep end. I'm ignorant of it too. So let me go back to the drawing board, because I see, man, this smart dude, he putting, man, let me go back to the drawing board, because I'm learning shit from their mistakes. I understand why I should know what it costs me to run my business. That's not something I even thought of, but I see how instrumental and important it is. Why do you think people make these? There's some ones that do provide value, and then there's other ones that just, they're just doing it for whatever reason because there's a trend. I failed. But some people will create the content and they'll tell you why they failed. They'll go into detail and then they'll say, listen, I want to prevent this from happening. Little do you guys know, there's people that contact me through DM, private message, and they say, look, I failed. I want to come up and give my story so I can help others prevent doing the same thing I did. Some of these people just come up because they want to come up. Matter of fact, even the ones that don't hit me behind the scenes, that just come up when the link is dropped, there's a reason they want to come up. One, either to get information from me, or two, tell their story to help others. And then some people say, man, Mark, I need you to hold me accountable. I've had people that come up and come up and said, and people that hit me behind the scenes, hey, Mark, I need to be held accountable, man. Shit, I'm messing up all the way around the board. Some of y'all just need y'all ass whooped. But see, I'm not the type of person like some of the people that I named earlier that just do it and don't give you a chance to say why you think the way you think. I see Anton, he gets it from time to time. I see Angry Man gets it from time to time. Anybody that does accountability, that challenges. If you challenge thought, you can't be afraid for a rebuttal. If you go into a debate on thought, you cannot get upset when the person who rebuttals you out debates you, or is more well spoken than you, or is more articulate, have a better vernacular. You can't get upset. You need to go do your research. Education in the Black community people fear it. And everything that I present proves it. See, it's not me, it's you. You're afraid of the education. You afraid of consuming the education. You're afraid of doing what's in your best interest to make the situation better for you and your family. And see, situations we have conversations like this, can't even get 75 people. See, these are the conversations that I would want to engage in. But when we hold people accountable, oh, it's 150 people here. I get a lot of people only see the satire in those interactions. And some of the people that are in the chat that are championing the accountability, I'm not ignorant to the fact that I know more than half of them people don't even know what the hell they doing. You think I don't know that? But there's a small percentage of people who are watching that want to do things right. There's a small percentage of people that are watching that are already invested and they're admitting to doing things wrong and they're watching this content and they're going to start applying the right approach immediately based on what they're consuming, learning from another person's mistakes or another person's misfortune. See, when people say things like, oh man, you're tearing a person down, that lets me know that you're a weak individual. Because see, nobody can tear my dreams down. Whatever that I set my mind out to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna tell you something. This is one of my homies, and he watches the channel. I remember when I first told him that I was gonna transition into doing the moving thing because I was doing the hustle thing. He used to come on the truck with me from time to time to make some extra money. And this is when I was still on the pickup truck, or I was renting. No, I was renting at the time, and I was gonna turn it into a real business. I ran it past him, and this is what he told me. He said, "Man, you know, it's too many family-owned companies. Man, these white folks ain't finna let you come in and da 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 this, that, and the third, right?" Now, this is a conversation we have to today. I kind of poke fun at it, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he admits that he was wrong. But what he said to me, he shot me down without any solution. See, now that's a shoot down. Oh man, you can't do this, da da da, man, with a bunch of excuses on why. See, me, when I tell people, nah, this ain't gonna work, I give them the reason why, I support it with facts, and then I tell them how they should go about it. Just like I did the 28-year-old. Bro, you ain't got no money. You don't have the money to support 3 trucks. You have no capital. Anybody that got common sense would tell him the same thing. That's why majority of the people support what I was saying. And then I said, start with 1 truck. Get an understanding of the business from being active in the business yourself. Start with 1 truck. Why do you want to go through the learning curve at 3 times the cost? You don't even have the capital to go at it at 1 times the cost. But if you're going to take the leap, start with 1 truck and get on the truck and run and learn the business. You saw what he said. So I gotta drive the truck? I said, like, how do you expect to learn? So with me telling him how he was going at it the wrong way and then giving him a solution, I'm shooting a black man down. And then you wonder why we behind. All right. That's why. It's absolutely why. We scared of education. See, education was shoved down my throat. I didn't have no choice. I got the best of both worlds. So I understand the importance of it. A lot of us, we make excuses. And like I always say, I'm not removed. Like, I'm from the hood. Like, I'm from the hood. So I understand the economical challenges. But what gets you up out of those economical challenges and those disadvantages is educating yourself. But we afraid of that. But when another black motherfucker challenge you to do that, I'm holding you down. All right, well, I'm gonna keep holding you down then. If you think me telling you what's in your best interest to educate yourself is holding you down, I'm gonna keep holding you down. Except I'm not gonna look at it as holding you down. I'm gonna look at it as holding you down. I'm holding you down. See, I can flip that. And here's the thing, I always do it. Whenever there's a challenge, I do that. Something that a lot of your people don't do. See, I'm not going to just block you or, read your disdain and not give you the opportunity to come up and express yourself. Why are you, what did I do? Tell me. Let's have a conversation. There you go. 95% of the people that voted, out of 108 votes, 95 people said you're responsible for your actions. One person said, or two people out of 3% said content creators. So it's about 3 people, 2 people, or less than whatever. And I believe those whatever people were trolls. I don't think no one's that ignorant to place the blame on their failure on another person. If you are going to place the blame of your failure, or you believe that someone else's failure is caused by another individual, as it pertains to business, right? There's a difference. Like, obviously we know there's individuals in society that, lack the understanding due to handicaps. We understand that we have, children, minors who can be influenced. You know what I'm saying? There's people who just are handicapped that can be influenced to do things. They have a mental challenge. They can be influenced. But an individual that is mentally capable, right, of starting a business, there's no excuses. Here's your opportunity. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. Come tell me why we shouldn't hold people accountable. Tell me why, and it's educational, tell me why we should not showcase failures. Tell me why failures, tell me why we can't learn from other people's mistakes. Tell me why that's an issue. Link is pinned to the chat. I love having these conversations. This is why I do thought-provoking, engaging live streams from time to time that are still educational. We're still keeping it box trucking. And we're getting to the root of the problem why the failure rate is so high. I even threw Amazon in the mix. Y'all love Amazon. Y'all love talking about how much money Amazon got, as like that's supposed to mean that, if you get a box truck and you run Amazon Relay because they have $3.9 trillion, you're just destined to be successful. And then you got a bunch of new people that, oh, yeah, you can't go wrong. Amazon ain't going nowhere. Great, fine. But then you fail to go do the case studies of all these people that came before you that failed at Amazon. So if it was foolproof, why do so many people fail at it? Not to say that you can't succeed, but when you only look at it one way because you're sold this idea, Amazon, they ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm finna go get this box truck. I'm finna run this Amazon Relay because, man, Amazon, man, they ain't going nowhere, man. It's Amazon everywhere. I can take you to one right now that's been dormant for the past 2 years. A quick 15-minute drive will be there. I've did it on a live stream before. It's sitting there blank. I could take you to a couple of them. Why would they build these facilities and not open them? Because they thought they were going to keep going this way, and then they did like that and dip like that. Not to say they're not still running up a bag. They're still running up a bag, but what? Every company reaches its climax. Nothing continues to go this way. Nothing. Doesn't mean they're going to go all the way down and go out of business. It just means they've reached their climax. Since what, 94, 95, you thought they were just going to go up and to the right till infinity? Even with OTR. Oh, well, yeah, get a box truck, start your box truck building. They'll tell you, go on the DAT load board. Then you'll see them scrolling on the DAT load board and you'll see all these loads. And you're not realizing that them loads are sitting there for a reason. It's always loads on the DAT load board. Doesn't mean they're good. Just because someone is scrolling in a short or a video and you see a bunch of loads and you see some prices and things like that, and then they say, man, it's endless loads, man. Everything moves with a truck. And it's some truth to that, right? But then you have a bunch of people that get out here and they can't even book a load. You got people that hear me and they, oh man, I want to be a part of the in the house game too. I'm gonna start a moving company. And then they go get the truck, get all the licenses and shit. And then they try to go source talent and they can't get any. That's why I'm transparent and say, man, the hardest thing the hardest thing is probably gonna be for you is to find the people. Because I want you to have that in mind, not to scare you. It's to forewarn you of what you're about to get into. I'm giving you the good, the bad, and the challenges that lie ahead. That's mentorship. See, we need to take the name away. Mentorship, we need to take that name away. We need to call it sell the dreamership. Because some of y'all just want to be sold a dream. You want all the positives. Mentorship is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the road that lies ahead. And everything in between. Link still pinned to the top of the chat. We ain't gonna get nobody up here. Tell me why you mad. Because see, it's one thing to say it and express your disdain and use these little features that the website has, these fingers and stuff, and your access to the comment section, which is great. But me, I like to go in the comment section. I like to engage. I don't just engage with the positive stuff. I also engage with the ones that challenge my thought. And I respond, and then I give you an opportunity to come up here and be a big boy or big girl and have a conversation. And yet and still, no one chooses to do it. If I have a viewpoint on something, I can articulate and support it with fact. What scares people is they see the vernacular, and it's easy and it's safe to do it from the privacy, but when confronting the individual head on, they're going to have to come with it. See, one thing that's for sure is they tell me like, man, you know what you're talking about. You got the knowledge. They say that. They give me my props. But then they say, well, no. Come on up. Let's have a conversation. We're going to have the good conversation. We're going to have the bad. We're going to have the ugly. This is just like the church. We got to invite you to the fellowship. I'm going to get me a hymn. I'm going to play a hymn at the end of my sermon, which is the lecture. I'm going to invite you to the front of the congregation to join the church. I'm going to get some deacons up here, and we're going to stand up here while we sing hymns and invite you to the front of the congregation. Now that's satire. See, now that's satire. Then you got people that don't understand satire. They don't understand the creativity as it pertains to content creation. Because I could just sit up here and be monotone, but then that would be very boring. So then I create on the whim. This is on the whim. I create some satire. And you get mad at that. All right, well, all right. Anybody coming up? And I do this to prove a point. All we're doing is have an information debate. The information, not even a debate. It's basically a conversation. Your viewpoint, your standpoint, and why you feel the way you do, and then my standpoint. But I can articulate myself. I just want to say, maybe I'm wrong. If you can articulate why, I'm a big boy. I can tell you, yo, you're right. Anybody coming to the front of the congregation today? Link is still pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let me read some of these comments, and if no one comes to the front, then we're gonna rescind the invitation. Right now, it's extended. Don Solo says the link is undefeated. Yeah. Listen, when the link drop, heart stop. When the link drop, heart stop, because I give you the opportunity to come up and express yourself. So it is what it is. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Let's see. About the journey. Chris says you cannot go into the business without properly educating yourself and think you are going to do great. It's not realistic. These people are in a fantasy land. I agree. Ray says people like drama and not information. I agree on that too. Don Sosa says anti-intellectualism affects the USA as a whole. It's just worse in our community. I agree on that. I agree on that, especially from a generational standpoint. As we, get time goes on, we get older. It seems like people are less want to be less informed. Does it's in all ethnicity groups, more in the younger generation, and then when it comes to our community, it's just even worse. So, do I watch other informative trucking content? If so, who? Do I watch other trucking content? For the most part, no. And it's not to not support, but the information that a person who's looking to gain knowledge from, I don't need that knowledge. I have it already. There's some channels that, if I catch them, I'll support from time to time. I'll watch. But like I'm not, seeking, what, individuals who aggressively watch, content in this space are seeking. So no, I don't. But from time to time, I catch some people that I support, and then from time to time, I'll click on something that I clicked on without knowing if I gonna support the message or not support the message as well. You know what I'm saying? I clicked on something last night, and I just disagreed with the delivery. I think it was sold, the delivery was sold that, this particular company is a company that if you enter into, it's foolproof. And that's far from the truth. One, because we have plenty of case studies that show that it isn't. And two, this company has hit a climax. So to say this company is going to always grow and it literally hit a climax 2 years ago is not true. Why can I go to Amazon facilities that have been blank, that were construction was ceased in the midst of construction, or they were finished and just never open? Why? Because there's no volume to. It's cheaper for them to sit there and pay the taxes and hire just a security person in shifts to sit there at that gate for the past 2.5, going on 3 years to just make sure don't nobody go in there and do them abandoned documentaries than to employ a facility, ramp up a facility, employ the people with not enough volume to make sure it's profitable. I mean, what's in a situation like this, what's known don't need to be explained. Nobody's going to build something across the country. It's not just here. There's facilities that were ceased. They ceased operation. They ceased construction, and then right after that, they laid off over 100,000 people. And then they did other rounds of layoffs. And then they said why they ceased the operations and why they laid the people off and why these things are dormant. But people don't go do that research. They just listen to the thing that sounds in their favor, right? Which is, well, this company, if you get a box truck, come into this company, man, they're everywhere. It's foolproof. They're only going to keep growing when a little bit of research show you that they hit the climax already. Doesn't mean that there's definitely opportunity there. There's definitely, you can be successful. But once again, the way it's presented, that if you do this and you partner here, it's foolproof. It's far from the truth. But me saying that, someone is looking like, oh, well, you're shutting my dreams down. And the only thing I'm doing is encouraging you to go do the research so that you have a better understanding of what you're investing in, so that you go into it knowing that it's not foolproof. A lot of people bite the bullet because they think what they're doing is foolproof, and it's not. People fail at over the road every day. People fail at middle mile, Amazon every day. So, I don't know. Is it possible Amazon would do a turnaround and continue an upward trend if consumer spending went up, then have a new climax, or no, because it was only because of COVID that they reached that high? No. Here's the thing. Prior to COVID, they were still transcending in an upward trajectory. Now, if COVID wouldn't have happened, what would have when would that trajectory have climaxed? I mean, we'll never know that. We'll never know that. But every company, if you can go look at the history of every company, especially startups, right, that are growing, they all climax and then stabilize at some point. Meaning your climax doesn't mean that you're going to go down. That means you hit a point of stability. That's a part of the 5 stages of growth, sustainability. They just hit a point of sustainability. This is what I'm saying, educating yourself on business. Only a person who's uneducated would think a company is not going to hit a point of sustainability. Yes, Amazon had a long road to a long road to hitting their peak. One of the longest out of a lot of the new startups in the last 30 years. You figure Amazon was started in the 90s and they peaked in 2022. It was started in the mid 90s and they were just going up, 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 and then they climaxed in 2022. That's a long time. Now they're at a point of stability. Very profitable, $3.9 trillion market cap. But a person who doesn't understand business, they'll listen to someone say, oh, they're just going to keep going up, 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 up. And then that should, for a person who understands business, that should trigger something you right there. Wait a minute, nothing continues to go up forever. There has to be a point of sustainability. It has to be that's part of the 5 stages of business growth. What company has gone up, 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 up and away and never stopped going up? Name me one company. Because if it is a company that exists, then it exists right now because they're still going up. Name me one company that's not still considered a new startup, that's been around for over 30, 40 years, that hasn't hit sustainability yet, that hasn't peaked yet. Not a new company, not something that was started 5 years ago, not something that was started 10 years ago. We're talking about a company that's been around. So you got to listen to the marketing tools and the sales tactics. But this is what people want to hear. So when you tell a person, oh man, Amazon ain't going to continue to go up, a person who doesn't understand business is going to say, oh, he a hater. He's saying Amazon ain't going to go up. Amazon ain't never going nowhere. They looking at it from an ignorant standpoint. And the only thing I'm saying is no company continues to scale. You have to hit a peak at some point. They misconstrue it because they don't understand business. All right. So no one is going to hit the like. So the like, not the like, the link is undefeated still. All right. The link is undefeated still. So link is going to put. All right. Then that's it, man. I don't really got nothing else to talk about, man. I at the end of the day, I'm going to keep showcasing, just things that just don't make sense, and hopefully people learn from them, and it's not done with malice. And I just wanted you to understand the value and learning from another person's mistakes, and change the narrative. Stop looking at mistakes as a down on the brother man, because some of y'all that's saying this, and I'm just gonna keep it a buck, y'all from the suburbs. Y'all was riding skateboards and doing ollies, and you had a BMX dirt bike growing up, and you was going to a skate park, and you went ice skating, and listen, I ain't never been ice skating, I ain't never been fishing, I ain't never did none of that shit. That shit don't even exist where I'm from. So, some of y'all from the suburbs, and you just can't take constructive criticism. And I knew once I said that someone was going to get upset. I knew it was going to evoke an emotion out of somebody. So that's why I saved it to the end. Because you can't take the satire and the joke, because I said some of y'all, nobody in mind specifically. It's just for humor purposes. But you take everything so personal. And this is the point that I'm making. The shit that you should take seriously, you denounce it. The shit that you should overlook, you engage in it. And with that note, I'm out.